For any sacrament to be valid in the Catholic Church, at least two things are necessary. 1, matter. 2, form. They sound like rather odd terms, especially if we're not really familiar with what they mean. But every sacrament has matter. That's a material item. For example, baptism. You can very easily guess what material item is used or what matter is used in baptism. That's right, holy water. What's the form for baptism? The words, the formula, if you will. Those words are giving the child's name and then saying, while pouring water over the child's head 3 times, I baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Valid for children and for adults as well who are baptized into the church. There you go. So it's matter and form, 2 very necessary elements for every sacrament. For the sacrament of the Eucharist, Holy Communion, 2 material items are absolutely needed, necessary, indispensable. Bread and wine. The bread must simply be grain and water. There may be no additives whatsoever to the bread. Simply wheat and water. For those who are gluten intolerant, there still needs to be the tracest amount of wheat for that host to become the Eucharist. Wheat is absolutely necessary because it's exactly what Christ himself used at the Last Supper, as he used the fruit of the vine. Now, the wine that's used must also be pure fruit of the vine. No additives whatsoever, no flavorings, no sugars, nothing at all, solely fruit of the vine. If we have material or matter that's different than these specific items, there is no Eucharist at the Mass. We must be very, very cautious and careful to make sure that we only use what has been given to us by tradition, what Christ himself used at the Last Supper. And praise be to God, there are many Catholic companies who furnish us with appropriately made hosts and wine. Notice, and this is no disrespect whatsoever to the sacraments, just as an analogy, I can't take Pepsi and pizza and make that the Eucharist because it's not valid matter. Now, what's the form? What's the formula? What are the words that are used? The words that are used are precisely what the priest prays at the consecration, taking bread in his hands. He repeats the words of Jesus Christ. Take this, all of you, and eat of it, for this is my body, which will be given up for you. And likewise, after supper is ended, he takes the chalice, blesses it, and gives it to his disciples, saying, take this, all of you, and drink from it, for this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in memory of me. These words are critically important. And so that we all know what those words are, the Church has provided the Roman Missal so that those words are enshrined there, the very words that Jesus himself uses at the Last Supper. Matter and form matter. They're necessary, indispensable for the life of the Church and the sacraments. My dear friends in Christ and saints in the making, matter and form are integrally important to the life of grace. When we focus on matter and form, we make space for grace.